In this lesson, I'll tell you about the history of the creation of the most popular cryptocurrency at the moment, Bitcoin. I'll start with the definition of cryptocurrency. As the name suggests, cryptocurrency is a type of digital currency whose creation and control are based on cryptographic methods. As a rule, the accounting of cryptocurrencies is decentralized, and the operation of these systems is based on blockchain technology. Bitcoin cryptocurrency has become a real phenomenon of the past decade. It constantly attracts heightened interest from internet users. How did Bitcoin come about? At the end of October 2008, subscribers of the website gman.com/encryption/general received an email from a sender named Satoshi Nakamoto. The message contained a description of the essence and properties of the newly created cryptocurrency called Bitcoin. Subscribers were informed that the new virtual currency unit is securely protected against fraudulent activities, is independent of any organizations, and allows its owners to use it anonymously. All information about the new cryptocurrency was also posted on bitcoin.org. The first transactions. The year 2009 is considered the year when Bitcoin appeared. In January of that year, the Bitcoin application was launched for the first time. The initial monetary block in this system was generated by Bitcoin's creator, Satoshi Nakamoto. A few days later, the first transaction transferring Bitcoin cryptocurrency from one user's account to another was carried out. A natural question arises: how much was Bitcoin worth when it first appeared, and where did these monetary units come from? It turns out that Bitcoins were generated by users on their computers. At the end of 2009, the Bitcoin exchange rate fluctuated between 700 and 1,000 Bitcoins per $1. It was published on the New Liberty Standard website. The calculation method for this rate was ridiculously simple. They based it on the average processing power of a computer, multiplied it by the cost of electricity in the US, and divided it by the number of Bitcoins generated by the website's creator. The first major transaction made using Bitcoin was when an American named Laszlo bought a pizza in 2010. At that time, he was passionately interested in acquiring Bitcoins and, while chatting on a forum with other electronic money enthusiasts, he offered his Bitcoins to anyone who would buy or order him a pizza. For 2 pizzas, he promised 10,000 Bitcoins, which at that time was worth about $40. Literally the next day, Laszlo posted on social media that someone named Jerkos had ordered him a pizza and received the promised Bitcoins. 2 months later, the Bitcoins Laszlo had paid for the pizza were already worth $600. By the end of the year, they were worth $2,400. By mid-2013, their value had exceeded $1 million. As for what 10,000 Bitcoins would be worth today, considering that one Bitcoin goes for over $8,000, you can do the math yourself. These are probably the 2 most expensive pizzas in history. The dynamics of Bitcoin's development. The first fans of Bitcoin were so-called crypto-anarchists who believed that the government should not interfere in people's economic activities. For them, cryptocurrency became a means of economic freedom, the most important invention since the advent of the internet. In their view, the new money surpasses existing currencies just as email surpasses regular mail. In July 2010, the first Bitcoin exchange, enigmatic, began operating, where users could buy or sell coins at the most favorable rates. The creation of the exchange indicated a fairly high degree of Bitcoin's liquidity, and high liquidity already made it possible to profit from fluctuations in the Bitcoin exchange rate. The founder of the exchange was Jed McCaleb, owner of the highly popular file-sharing network Y2K2000. In March 2011, the exchange was sold to the Japanese company Taban. In November 2011, enigmatic's trading volume reached the milestone of $1 million. The year 2013 was marked by a rapid rise in the price of Bitcoin. At the beginning of the year, one Bitcoin was worth $13, but by December, it was trading for over $1,000. This was one of the most significant examples of a financial asset price surge in history. Enthusiasts who believed in Bitcoin suddenly became millionaires. Serious financiers and government agencies in various countries began to take notice of the new cryptocurrency. Bitcoin immediately gained influential allies, financiers, investors, stock market speculators, and hedge fund managers, who started turning Satoshi Nakamoto's experiment into a tool for wealth and influence. The first among Russian financiers to speak out about cryptocurrencies was the president of Sberbank of Russia, Herman Gref. On January 24, 2014, at the World Economic Forum in an interview with Bloomberg, Gref stated, "Cryptocurrencies are a very interesting international experiment that breaks the paradigm of currency issuance. They definitely should not be banned. We should try to understand them and, perhaps, regulate them properly." However, 2014 turned out to be not the most successful period in Bitcoin's history. In February, there was a sharp drop in the cryptocurrency's value, connected to the collapse of the MDGOX exchange. In addition, there were new incidents of user data theft, and the press once again reported on the use of the Bitcoin system by arms and drug dealers. In 2015, the price of Bitcoin dropped to $240, and its market capitalization was just over $3 billion. In January 2017, one Bitcoin was already worth over $1,000, and its market capitalization exceeded $16 billion. At the moment, 2017 is coming to an end. The price of one Bitcoin is over $8,000. The market capitalization of the leading cryptocurrency is $136 billion. In 2017 alone, Bitcoin grew more than eightfold. More and more people around the world are starting to believe in cryptocurrency. Many analysts are predicting various future prices for Bitcoin, from $10,000 or $20,000 to even $1 million per Bitcoin. And one thing is becoming clear: this trend is only gaining momentum. To keep this lesson from becoming enormous, I won't describe the full potential of these new technologies. Let's limit ourselves to just one comparison with the advent of the internet. Of the developed industries, the internet has significantly changed only sales. Amazon, Alibaba, eBay, the entire e-commerce sector, and in other areas, the changes haven't been as significant. Let's not forget about entertainment. But that segment couldn't really be called developed. It owes its growth precisely to the internet. The internet forced businesses to change their processes, but most of the value created remained within the old paradigm. Only the method of delivering that value changed. Blockchain, on the other hand, has the potential to fundamentally change the rules in almost every field, whether it's healthcare, education, commerce, government, energy, finance, or manufacturing. We're about to see a major shift in the rules of the game for entire sectors and a redistribution of financial flows according to the new value being created. So, companies that manage to successfully capture markets will be able to solve current tasks much more efficiently and cheaply, and offer new solutions to add value. In the near future, we might see new companies emerging from blockchain that follow the path of Amazon or Google. You might be wondering, what does Bitcoin have to do with all this? It's simple. Bitcoin will be the instrument of value directly associated with the new wave of technological development, the gold of the digital age. And at the end of this lesson, I want to share with you a few quotes from people who, in one way or another, have changed the world and continue to do so. Gold keeps being mined and mined and mined. There may be a limited amount of gold in the world, but Bitcoin is a more mathematical and regulated thing. No one can change mathematics. Steve Wozniak. Bitcoin could make it much easier to move money around internationally and could also reduce fees significantly. But Bitcoin will not be the dominant system. Bitcoin alone is not good enough. The Bitcoin revolution needs to be brought closer. Bill Gates. I think Bitcoin is actually a good thing. I think, first and foremost, it will be used for illegal transactions, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Bitcoin will be useful for both legal and illegal deals. Elon Musk. I'm skeptical about most cryptocurrencies, but I think people are slightly underestimating Bitcoin. It can be compared to reserve money, like gold, for example. Bitcoin is a store of value. It's not needed for making transactions. Peter Thiel. See you in the next lesson.